my staircase is going to be supported by one support pole standing up, and that pole is going to be sort of quite prominent in the middle house, so I wanted to have something a little bit decorative. The easiest thing was just to buy a wooden beam, a new one, and make it to size. But then I figured, you know, we want something decorative. So I've been looking around for a nice wrought iron pole or something. Couldn't find anything, but then the owner of the brocante shop where we buy most of our antiques, he gave me this beam, which was laying in a puddle of water, and all kinds of critters were crawling on it. So before I loaded it up in the van yesterday, I scraped it off, and then at home I power washed it. And that's a nice way of cleaning old wood and making it look more interesting, because the power washer really removes all the soft wood and leaves the hardwood. And now I'm going over it with a brush, with a copper wire brush, and brush it all up, and I think that surface is gonna look really cool when I've done it all. Yeah, and then afterwards I'll give it a coat with a protective oil, and that will even make the color go deeper. But it's got character, this beam, and the more I brush it, the more character it will get. Yeah, but I shouldn't be doing that today. It's Sunday. People are enjoying the decent weather and sitting in their gardens. I just couldn't help myself and had to give it a try. But I'm gonna continue with this tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, so I've brushed the whole beam pole on all four sides, and it's really beautiful now. It accentuates the grain of the wood, which is not straight. It runs in curves. All the organic shapes, and you also see the man-made shapes, the nail holes and all. Yeah, it's nice. All the softwood has been removed. That big brush, by the way, it's black, but it's actually a copper brush. It's just dirty. But yeah, I bought that a while back for this kind of purpose. This needs to soak in, and then you'll see the difference in color. I'll make the wood a little bit darker, but not an awful lot darker. So I have just finished painting the entire ceiling upstairs. 2 coats of a base coat and then 1 top coat. And that can dry now, but it means that yeah, I'm basically free to open up the ceiling here in order to finish the staircase build. And I'm gonna try to show you what the situation looks like. Because it's quite something. You see that no lines are straight. Well, straight yes, but not in any 90-degree angle. You see that I have to remove some of the ceiling joists in order to create the headroom to climb on the stairs. And I will have to transfer the load of the ceiling joist to another place instead of the wall where they terminate now. So I am going to have to place or I'm going to have to, what I've decided is I'm going to install a joist that runs parallel with the stairs and starts on a joist over there in the distance and terminates on a joist here. Now this joist itself is not connected to the wall anymore, so I'm going to have to support that. It's now supported temporarily with this, what do you call them, acro prop, I believe. There's a temporarily construction support. That's where my beam is going to be, probably in more or less the same position, because it's out of the way, out of the walkway there. Yeah, and then so I will transfer the loads of these joists and also the load of the staircase in this corner here, because normally the staircase would terminate onto a joist, but as there are no 90-degree corners, that's not going to work. Yeah, well, I might install a small joist from the wall to the one that I'm going to put up here. It's a complicated story for you to understand. Well, it's even complicated for me here while I'm here, because I am looking and staring at all these lines and thinking how to effectively transfer the loads of the ceiling, which is the floor upstairs, of course, without installing all kinds of constructions that are unnecessary or in the way. So I've just set up my laser level, and I'm not sure whether this registers. Yeah, it does. And it's now skimping along the stairs and also on the ceiling, so I can indicate on the ceiling where I am going to have to cut the joists, and also under what angle I'm going to have to cut the joists, because yeah, again, that's not a 90-degree cut. It's going to be a nasty, difficult cut to make. And it's going to be upside down. Yeah, so let me just transfer these lines, these laser lines with pencil on the beams, and then I can come up with some kind of solution, hopefully, that enables me to cut that corner, that specific corner, in 2 beams. I have an idea. I think I'm going to remove part of the ceiling first. I think that would help me create more space to work from. hey, this is now not really the place for you guys to come roaming around. There's tools and there's sharp things and nails and screws and a lot of rubbish. I really like to see you guys, but it's just not really a good spot. Bok Bok, maybe you go back outside. Okay. Wow, I can tell you, doing this all with two hands is it's quite a thing. It's I was yesterday. I was at the GP because I needed a new medication for my hay fever, and somehow it turns out that I gained weight over the last 6 months. 3 kilos. That's 6.6 pounds. Must be dry muscle weight though. I mean, I don't know how I could have gained weight doing this kind of work. Right, I got my my rafter in place, although it's obviously sitting lower than it's gonna be because it's gonna be sitting at this height. It's gonna be on the butt ends of these, but I can now transfer all the lines and angles and draw in where I gotta cut and what I gotta cut. Okay. This is gonna be quite the exercise. I'm gonna have to cut upside down. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be quite the exercise, step by step, I guess. I'm taking it easy. Now, taking the beam down. Yeah, try doing that with a big, heavy, bulky chainsaw. with one hand holding this cut-off beam, with the other one the chainsaw. Right. Okay, I got one beam out, and I actually cut it out with my little chainsaw. It's a little bit of a rough cut, but if I were to cut it several times with a circular saw and then with a hand saw in order to make all the saw lines meet, because the circular saw is just too small, it would have been a messy cut anyway. So I figured, you know, I'll do it with the chainsaw. And when I bought a chainsaw, this is the first chainsaw I've ever bought in my life, I did purposely buy a small one so that it's light to handle with one hand and small enough to do jobs like this, you know, while at the same time also being able to do bigger jobs like cutting firewood. But yeah, I'm happy with this one. What I'm going to do now, before I cut this one, I'm going to laser it up once more, just to be 100% sure that I'm cutting at the right point and that it's all fitting. Yeah, I think that would be smart to do. Measure twice, cut once. Okay. Ooh, nice. Too short. Somehow I cut it too short, the beam. So I've got my beam in place. It's not as neat as I wanted it, but gee, with just two hands it's a really difficult job. It's so heavy. I'm gonna have sore muscles tomorrow, that's for sure. I screwed everything in place with these really long wood screws. Every joint has at least 3 screws. I had to stick a plank in between this gap between the stairs and the beam. There was just a slight opening, which I wanted to avoid initially, but you know, I'm already happy that everything is sort of in place now. Yeah, there's just one joint that I'm really not happy about, but I'm gonna solve that later. So as you may be used to by now, I completely forgot to film when things got critical. Yeah, that is because I'm just in a hurry to get things done. So what I've done, let me flip the camera, I have secured everything in place with screws. Yeah, and as this was a very heavy beam that I put in, it got a bit critical. It was poorly supported temporarily, so I really wanted to get the screws in. I've used the big fat screws, at least 3 per join, and I'm fairly happy. I'm not perfectly happy because some of the joints are just not that nice, but I will do something about that. Later on. I have ideas how to solve it, but the stairs is basically standing and it is secured to the beam, and the beam is secured to this beam, and at the moment supported by one post over there. I'm going to remove these temporary posts right now because yeah, everything is sitting. Yeah. So let me just get these temporary posts away and that slab of wood, and then tidy up a little bit. It's already at the end of the day, so and I really need some relaxation because lifting this beam about 20-25 times, yeah, it was just fairly heavy work. It's this is not work that you should be doing alone. By yourself, I mean, this is really a 2 or preferably 3-man job. It's a bit silly. I should have asked one of my neighbors to give me a hand, but then, you know, it's always frustration, right? It's frustration either because you've forgot to do it yourself, or it's the frustration of having to explain people what you want from them. Let me put this post temporarily here in the middle, because now we gotta get this wooden beam down safely, and I can control it a little bit better with this thingy. Okay, and now I'm going to lower this one. Okay, and if not, well, we'll see. Nice. Yeah, you know, you can do everything by yourself, but you just have to think a lot more and prepare a lot more. How am I going to do this? Up, okay. So I just got a piece of beam to size to fit here, I want to have a piece of beam sitting here. Why? Because at the moment the floor, my ceiling, but the floor is on one side resting in a rebate in the wall. I don't like that. I think that's just not smart. No, I would rather have a beam sitting here, properly fastened in the wall, and then the ceiling, the floor, resting on that. Just like it's on this side. Yeah, and I'm going to have to rebuild part of this floor slash ceiling. I'm doing it proper right away. So I'll place a piece of beam here on the wall and then a 90-degree angle here. And then I have secured this new beam, yeah, to there in that wall, in that against the wall. Yeah, because then I have a piece of beam sitting here on the head end of the staircase, and the ceiling can rest on that. I just want to have it strong. I'm a big guy. I'm what, 260 pounds or so, 130 kilograms, and I don't want to feel things moving under my feet when I walk on it. I just want to have it proper done. Yeah. So I've just made this piece of wood with 45-degree angles, exactly a 45-degree angle. I don't really have the proper equipment to make this thick kind of wood. Just propping it up. Okay. So it's gonna sit like that, and then possibly this piece will fit right in here. Yeah, I need to trim it a little bit down. Ooh, super tight, and it has to be super tight because I think this wood will dry out a bit more and contract a little bit more. So yeah, tight is good. Let me just check upstairs whether everything is level as well, but it looks pretty darn good. And then we're gonna secure everything with screws again. Wow, what a construction, eh? Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry I can't just film everything. It's just very narrow here as well, and I just need my hands and I need to carry on because the progress goes a lot slower than I hoped. So this is what I've built. Yeah. Well, basically, I don't need a support anymore because everything is basically transferred up and to that, well, full length rafter, and then to this rafter, and this rafter goes onto this block, and this block is secured in this block, and this block is secured in the wall. It's also secured in this block that we put up, and this block is partially secured in this block which is on the wall. So basically all the loads are transferred now to the wall. Yeah. I just don't know how I feel about not putting a post there. What I could also do, I mean, the strongest way would be to put a post under this beam directly like I have now, the temporary post. But what I could also do is put a post under here. If I trust the loads going from this beam to this beam, but I do not completely trust the connection of this beam into the wall, although that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 big plugs, but then still, yeah, it looks a bit rough, and it is a bit rough, but will put a plate on here covering this off, closing this up, and also providing extra support for this beam under this plate, which will be screwed in everywhere. And yeah, then a lot of paint and sealant and caulking will make it look a lot tidier, that's for sure. Yeah, but most important is that this is a decent and strong enough contraption. Yeah, big boy. Tidying up at the end of the day. Yeah. So a new day. It's Friday today, and I hope to get all the carpentry work done today. That would be awesome. I decided that I probably don't need to have a post installed here, but I will anyway, because it just gives me that little bit more confidence that the whole thing is going to stay as it is, even with a fair amount of load onto the floor upstairs and this corner here and the staircase. And you know what, if I position a post under here, that's a perfect point, and it's completely out of the way. Do I say that correct? Yeah, it's sort of out of the way. Yeah. Yeah, so let me just determine where that post is going to be, and then also what exactly the distance is between here and the floor, so that I know how long I've got to cut my post. Not how long I've got to cut my post, where I've got to cut my post. So I will just put a screw or a nail in here where I want the top to be, and then I can suspend this line with weight, and I know exactly on the floor where to make my marker with a pencil, and then I measure the distance with my laser measure device, and then I know exactly how long my post has to be. (2 meter 11.8 centimeter). So say 2 meter 12 bar 2 mil. 212. 212. Just verifying with a tape measure, because I'm gonna use my tape measure on the wood to cut it. So I would assume that the length measured by the laser distance meter is equal to the length measured by the tape measure, but there's sometimes a difference between them, so you better verify, but I think 212 is about okay. I might even cut it at 212.5 centimeter. I can always remove later. Yeah, I think the top part is more interesting than the lower part. See, that's why you gotta have your piles of stuff laying around just to quickly grab something instead of having to look for a chainsaw. Okay, I cut and planed it to size, and I want it to sit really snug because all this wood has been stored outside. It's not acclimatized to interior conditions, and what wood is going to do is it's going to go to shrink, right? It's not going to expand, because that's what it does when it's humid, when it's wet, and it's likely drier inside than outside. So I just want everything to fit really, really snug. Bloody hell, almost perfect. Yeah, I'm going to secure it with some hidden screws. Boy, oh boy, it's a lot of work putting this stairs in, and also to just finish off the wood surrounding it. Yeah, as I said many times, nothing is straight, so you gotta sort of almost engage into ship carpentry skills. It's a lot of work. Yeah, taking longer than I hoped it would take. Anyway, we'll just carry on. Hey, thank you very much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. A massive thanks to the people below here, because they bought me one or more coffees, and that's very helpful. Keeps this channel up and running. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, see the link below or in the description. Next week, no episode, because I am going to take a little break. I think I've earned it, and then I'll see you in a week or two. Oh, I gotta take the railing down. I gotta plane this smooth, this beam, and on top install a cap rail. I've already cut the cap rail. I just gotta take the railing down and then plane this and sand it smooth. Oh, hey guys, a step more in every single time, huh? Yeah. You're coming to have a look, seeing what it's all about. If I just let you, then soon enough you'll be upstairs.